We meet a local fashion designer who is making his appeal to the youthful segment of the Hispanic community, and we learn of the collaboration of two young artists who are leaving their mark through art in the Atlanta City area. Plus, we revisit the artful sound of Grupo Hypnosis. It's all here on the next Latino Motion. Join us.
Choose quality, value, distinction. Choose Stockton.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation, and Stockton University. This edition of Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is brought to you by the HD Studios at the campus of Stockton University. Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, healthcare you can believe in. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas. Welcome to Latino Motion, a weekly interview show highlighting issues impacting New Jersey's Latino community while advancing understanding of Latino cultural heritage and contributions to our society. And here is your host, Bert Lopez.
Buenos dias and welcome to Latino Motion. With over 58% of the Hispanic population under 34 years old, there is much appeal for younger Latinos in all sectors, including fashion. Joining me to discuss how fashion is shaping our youth is Santiago Amador. Santiago, welcome to Latino Motion.
Thank you for having me, Berg. Really appreciate it.
Santiago, you look like an artist right here with the clothes, but this is part of what you do. You're a fashion designer. Tell me a little bit how you got involved with this.
Well, the reason why I got into fashion, let me give you the backstory like really quick. Growing up, my father was always impeccably dressed. Yeah. He always wore dress slacks and shoes, and I never saw my father in jeans or sneakers ever until now.
That's part of the Latino culture, right?
Absolutely.
Like,
beautiful shirts,
no matter how poor you were, you had to be dressed, right?
To the T.
Okay.
Always smelled good, always looked impeccable. So I looked up to him, and I'm like, I wanted to be like that. So when I got older, I created fashion because I just didn't like what I saw in the stores.
So tell me a little bit about the type of fashion that you're involved with. And you also started a company as well, right?
Yes, Dodici Vita. Dodici Vita in Italian means the 12 life. And the reason for the name is because I was born in December, which is the 12th month. Okay. And the 12 life is basically a mentality of opulence. Like, it's like saying, you know, you can do nice things and have nice things, and it's like a lifestyle mentality. And there's a lot of spiritual reasons behind the number 12 as well, biblical spiritual reasons, like the 12 disciples, right. You know, the 12 original tribes, things like that. So there's a lot of reasons behind the 12.
Just the very thought that you put in just the name of the company is the same kind of thought you seem to put into your fashion.
Yes, I
Tell me a little bit about you. You're wearing a creation you have made here.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about how you go about this design.
I'm a big fan of Versace. Big fan of like some of the designers. Alessandro is now the head designer of Gucci. I'm a big fan of these designers, and you know, I just love art. I'm a big fan of art, so my idea was to put art into fashion, to merge the two worlds.
So it's shirts, it's t-shirts, and it's hats.
T-shirts, hats, shirts, fashion accessories. We're getting into belts. I love, you know, I love designer belts, so we're getting into belts and things like that, and eventually like handbags and backpacks and things like that.
So you seriously got involved with your company. Now you're really marketing it, and it's mostly appealing to the younger Latinos and the younger population, and you're using more of the youthful tools like the social media.
Absolutely. Social media is a very important part, as you said to me earlier, and the percentages of people who are into fashion, you know, under 35, they're glued to their phones and their computers. So, you know, the obvious market for me would be through mobile apps or through social media, and I've been doing really great, you know, from the social media aspect.
Let's talk about some of those numbers. So it's about 33%, or 1/3 of the Hispanic population are under the age of 18, and then you got between 18 and 34. That's another quarter, that's 25%. Huge. So it's a very young population of Latinos all looking to have fashion and fashion icons.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about how the Latino part of you has influenced some of your design and fashion.
And this is not a racist comment. This is a true fact. If you were raised in a Latino family, you know how important it is to look good and to be smooth. Like, you know, there's this, the music and the culture and the food go hand in hand with the fashion in the Latin world. You know, Latin guys are known for being Latin lovers and things like that. But and it's kind of true. Whether it's, you know, it's not a stereotype. It's true. So the Latino influence is probably 95% of what I do growing up. You know,
now,
my father.
Let's talk about how you go about this, because obviously you designed the shirt.
Yes.
You have someone sew it up for you.
Yes.
And
I'm involved in every aspect from A to Z. I pick the fabric, I create the design, I work with the seamstress. You know, they do my measurements. So like everything that I create for myself first, and I wear it to see if I like it, and before I show it to anyone.
And how do you take care of the mass production?
I have, you know, companies that do the drop shipping and the mass production on all of the stuff, from like, you know, the hats, the shirts. Like I do it in bulk. So, you know, I place large orders of, you know, 250 pieces at a time, and then all I do is send the designs now. Once I approve the designs, they get mass produced and shipped.
Where do you see your company going a couple of years down the road? What's your vision?
I want to be where Versace is. I want to be where Gucci is. I want to be one of those brands that doesn't come and go.
Okay.
You know, if you look at like a lot of brands, they last for 2 or 3 years and then they're gone. But then if you look at someone like a Ralph Lauren or a Polo, they've been around for 30, 40, and 50 years. I don't want to go anywhere because I want to constantly stay ahead of the curve and constantly surround myself with people who are better than me.
Now, this is a very challenging career, short-lived for many. What do you see as the anchor for your success?
I know a lot of celebrities.
Okay.
So I'm friends with a lot of cool people. So I give stuff away to them.
That always helps.
Yeah, you know, so I give them hats, I give them shirts, and they'll wear them.
Right.
And then they're around a lot of influential people who say, "Oh, what hat is that?" Like right now, my clothes is featured on 2 different reality shows.
All right.
And you know, and more people are calling me. I'm designing a jacket right now for Young Thug.
Oh, so certainly you're getting there. What advice will you give to others that may want to pursue this kind of career?
I would say, develop thick skin.
Okay.
I would say never let anybody tell you what colors or what fabrics. Like, just do whatever your heart tells you to do, and then start wearing it yourself, because you'll be your own best billboard. You'll be a walking billboard. If you wear something cool and someone likes it, eventually it will catch on.
And it doesn't hurt to have a marketing idea like you do with some of your contacts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I'm going to give you some stuff.
Oh, great.
You know what I'm saying? Then you come with Latino Motion, you might have the hat on next time. So.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, for sure. I got you.
Santiago, thank you for sharing this information.
I appreciate you having me.
And please stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion, artists, a universal language that can inspire, motivate, and elicit every emotion. Joining me are 2 local artists that share their voices to art. We have Renee Ortiz and Johnny Blockhead. Gentlemen, welcome to Latino Motion.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
So you guys look like artists, just like Santiago did, but you have a different type of art. Yours is more of the murals and another type of arts. Let's talk a little bit about your art. And let's start with you, Johnny.
Well, you know, we've been doing this for so long, and at this point it just comes naturally. We have an idea, the idea comes to us, and as soon as the idea comes, we have to get it out, and we just grab a canvas and go with it.
And I know, Renee, that you've been doing this since a child. Tell me a little bit about your journey to become an artist.
Yeah, started off in the neighborhood, painting on whether jeans or sneakers, and started the shirts. And then one day in school, I picked up art class, picked up canvas, and just continued my journey from there until I met John.
Now, most artists are kind of soloists when you're talking about the visual arts, the painting and so forth. Most folks tend to stay in their own lane, but you guys managed to collaborate. Tell me a little bit about that collaboration. How does that work?
Well, it's good because sometimes I might not see something, and June will see something and give his this different style, different opinion. Sometimes he'll start a piece and show it to me and pass it to me, or I'll start a piece and we go back and forth until it's done. So
it's just collaboration, and again, not seen very often. And I know you guys have done quite a number of local pieces of art. Tell me a little bit about some of the murals you've done.
First one we did was in the post office of Absecon, which was a huge mural there, with the help of another artist, Jose Perez. From there, we just continue to go from business to business, and then we have murals at the Arts Garage, doctors' offices, sub shops, wherever you can think of.
Which one are the ones that you're proudest of in the murals?
Probably the last one we just did on the outside of the old Ginsberg Bakery. Okay. We painted a mural of our children painting the world.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And this was right in Atlantic City, and it was you also utilized the kids from the New York Avenue School as well.
Yes. We had the kids come over, and we showed them the mural and the arts, and we talked to them about just doing what they love to do.
Also incorporated a message with the painting. What was the quote again, Brian?
The only difference between the dreamer and the achiever is discipline.
That was a nice message, inspiring the kids and getting the kids involved is always a good thing. Let's talk about some of the influences you have. Obviously, you have some of your own cultural influences, African American, Latino. Tell me a little bit about those influences.
Influenced me was a couple artists from the 80s was Warhol, Basquiat, and Keith Haring. And from there, just seeing some of the local art and the graffiti, some of the street art, they call it. We just started incorporating our own styles into some of what was already there, and then we kind of came up with our own kind of lane or genre, if you must say.
Okay. So you're not considered street artists. What do you consider yourself?
We don't like to consider ourselves anything, honestly. We don't want to put ourselves in a box because, today we want to be painters. We want to paint on canvas or paint murals. Tomorrow, what if I want to be a photographer or, right, an actor? We don't want to be placed in a box. So we're creatives. We like to create.
I know that you also have done some doctor's office and other things like that. So you also do the commercial art as well.
Yes. We actually did a mural in the Planet Rose in the Tropicana. Okay. And we did a few couches inside there too. We painted on the actual couch.
Really?
Even on the ceiling.
We painted the ceiling too, yeah.
So tell me, how do people know about you? So word of mouth, you market, how do you market yourself?
Definitely word of mouth is how it took off until social media became a big part of what we do. So,
what are your biggest challenges?
Right now, it's finding the time to create and work. We have to work to feed our families, but just finding the time to get the work done.
If someone was pursuing this type of career as an artist, what advice would you give, particularly the youth? What advice would you give them?
Just with us, it was a lot of long nights of painting, dedication, and just keep at it. And at one point in your journey, it's gonna stick whatever you're doing. The people are gonna like it if you keep pushing it in their face. So
it's hard to make a living as an artist. How are you guys managing?
Right now, it's easy to make a couple dollars here and there as an artist, but I think people enjoy art, but they don't want to pay the true value of your art. So if I were to say anything to artists coming up, is to respect your passion. And I believe we got to a point where we are not selling ourselves short anymore, and we need to get what we're worth.
So continue your passion. It's a nice journey you're in, and certainly some fine work that you're doing here locally in the Atlantic City and Pleasantville area. So thank you both for sharing this information and your experience with our audience. And please stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Latino Motion.
Latino Motion with Bert Lopez is presented by Latino Motion Public Affairs Media, a New Jersey nonprofit corporation. Join us online at www.latinomotion.tv. Find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We encourage your comments and contributions for show topics.
Welcome back to Latino Motion. We continue our arts theme as we revisit our interview with Grupo Hypnosis. Let's listen in. When it comes to Latin music, salsa, merengue, and bachata are the staple of tropical music. Hypnosis is a local group that is taking off and has a very bright future. Joining me is Adrian Ferrer, Felix Santiago, and Charlie Acosta with Hypnosis. Gentlemen, welcome to Latino Motion.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much.
So Hypnosis is a local group. You guys have local roots, came together. You've been in existence for about 4 years. Tell me a little bit about your start.
Well, I mean, we all have different backgrounds. The group is basically three main singers. You have Charlie, and we have Chelo, which isn't here today with us. But we were kind of at the end phase of our groups. We were in different groups, and Charlie approached me and said, you know, let's form something together. And when we started, it wasn't as serious as this. It was like, okay, let's just have some fun. So, but it's progressed to the point that now, by the end of the summer, we're going to have our own production that we've worked with all these like big names.
Well, I mentioned the three different venues, if you will, salsa, bachata, merengue. You guys play all three plus a lot more. So how do you manage to do all that?
Well, I mean, I'm one that I don't like to limit myself. I love Latin music, you know, and that's what Hypnosis is about. I mean, it's a fusion of different things. And giving our backgrounds, Charlie doesn't have the same background as me, or Chelo doesn't have the same background. He has another background. He's more romantic, and he has that type of feel. Charlie is more of a street type of singer, very hardcore. And then I'm very orthodox. I do a little bit of everything. So I said, well, let's just combine what I have with what you got and this and that. So there's impossible not to include every genre there is.
So Charlie, tell me a little bit about your style of music. I mean, how are you able to get to perform all three, salsa, merengue, bachata, and even some American tunes as well?
Yes, in the American, Adrian have that, but in salsa, merengue, and bachata, we have three kind of music. Everybody love it. Salsa, everybody love merengue, everybody love bachata.
Well, obviously you do, because you perform most of it, right? and I know, Felix, you're the drummer as well. We just played the offset of this, a song, Julian. Want to talk a little bit about that, because that has some special meaning to you as well.
Yeah, the song Julian was born, you know, one morning at 4 o'clock in the morning when I presented to him. It was just little pieces of it, and he was the mastermind. They got it all together. It was a tragedy, you know, personal that happened to me, to my wife, Clarissa, at the time. I didn't know what it was. We had to learn everything. So it's like a chromosome disease on the number 18. You know, that's why it's called trisomy 18.
You lost your son as a result, and obviously this led to the song.
Decided to write the song, yeah.
You wrote the song, and you made the connection. Tell me a little bit how you made that happen.
Well, I mean, like I said, we're very commercial. So when Bucci gave me that call at 4 in the morning, I didn't know how to take it, because I was crossing into a spiritual realm with this. You know, it was the loss of the life of a child, and how do I direct that? So he had a couple words I elaborated on, and started to do an arrangement, and from there I collaborated out in Florida at Paris Recording Studios. At the time, Mark Anthony's bass player was doing some collaborations out there, so. I spoke to the owner of the Paris Recording Studios, Eric, and I says, look, you know, I wrote this song. I would love to collaborate with Urban. So he was like, look, he's a nice guy. Just write to him. And he was actually there at the studio at the day that I called and was able to talk to him.
You made it happen.
And the song became...
I know you have a production in the works. Tell me a little bit about that production.
Well, the production has 3 different genres. It has the bachata, it has the salsa, and it has the merengue. We've collaborated with great musicians. Matt Cappy, he's also working on his own production, and he's done stuff for Michael Jackson, Alicia Keys. His credits are huge. Jay-Z. And BET, you know, it just goes on and on.
So you got big dreams ahead of you, a lot of things on the works.
It didn't start like big dreams in the beginning. It started as something, okay, let's have fun. But you know what? It's snowballed into having the confidence that we have now. And we're like, you know what? I just met this star, and I just spoke to Mark Anthony's bass player. And their advice, and it's like, look, we're just real people.
You're available to perform locally. I know that I heard you perform in Egg Harbor City, and you're also going to be performing over at the Tropicana as well.
Yeah, I mean, I also freelance, me personally, so I work with several groups. So I'm working out of 4 different groups. So this weekend.
Well, gentlemen, this is great information. Proud to have a local group in the urge of taking off. That's all the time we have for this week's show. My thanks to Grupo Hipnosis, Santiago, Johnny, and Renee. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us at home once again here on Latino Motion.
Choose quality, value, distinction. Choose Stockton.
Funding for Latino Motion is provided by Atlanticare, healthcare you can believe in. Atlantic City Electric, energy for a changing world. And South Jersey Gas.